I didn't expect that pretending to be poor for one day would shake my heart this much. I didn't expect strangers to treat me better than people I once called friends. And I definitely didn't expect what happened in the next 24 hours. But before all that, it began with one simple idea. What if I walked through the Philippines with almost no money, no clean clothes, and no plan? How would people treat me? So one morning, before the sun was fully awake, I put on an old shirt, old shoes, and stuffed a few coins into my pocket. I looked at myself in the mirror, and I honestly felt nervous. I looked tired and lost, exactly what I needed for this. When I stepped outside into a small town in Cebu, I already felt eyes on me. Jeepneys roared past, vendors set up their stalls. Kids hurried to school, everyone seemed busy, too busy to notice someone like me. But I was wrong. I walked into the market and pretended to count my coins like I couldn't afford breakfast. I kept my head down, acting tired. A banana vendor looked at me for a moment. Then she asked softly, "Anak, are you hungry?" I didn't even know what to say. I just nodded. Without a second thought, she picked 2 bananas from her basket and placed them in my hands. "No payment," she said. "Eat." I froze. Who gives food to a stranger at 7 a.m.? I tried to hand her the coins I had, but she shook her head. "Keep it. The day is long. You might need it." That was my first shock. But it would not be the last, not even close. After eating, I went to the bus terminal and stood there looking confused. A group of men waiting nearby noticed me. "You lost?" one of them asked. "I'm just trying to find a place to rest," I said. He pointed across the street. "Go there. No one will bother you." Before I could thank him, another man grabbed a water bottle from his tricycle. "Here," he said, "the sun is strong. Drink." It wasn't fancy water. It wasn't expensive. But the way they gave it, without hesitation, felt heavier than gold. I sat outside a church under a small shaded area. A few people were resting there too. One little boy with messy hair and dirty clothes sat beside me. He held a small plastic bag with a single piece of bread. He looked at me and asked, "Are you sleeping here too?" "For today," I said. He smiled like it was normal. Then he opened his bag, took out the bread, broke it into 2 pieces, and handed me the bigger half. "Eat, I'm not very hungry." I wanted to cry right there. That piece of bread was probably his only meal. But he gave it away, to me, a stranger. That moment hit me harder than I expected. By noon, the heat felt like fire. I walked back to the market and stood under a small shade. A group of women were cutting vegetables and chatting. One woman looked at me closely. "You look tired. Sit here." She moved her chair so I could sit near her. Then, without asking anything, she reached into her lunchbox and gave me rice and a piece of fried fish. "Eat," she said. "You need strength." I couldn't understand it. These women worked hard every day. They didn't have much, but they shared their food like I was family. They didn't ask who I was. They didn't judge my clothes. They didn't look at me with fear or suspicion. They just helped. Later, I found a sari-sari store and pretended to look for coins on the ground. People passed by and some didn't notice, but the owner, a man maybe in his 60s, stepped out. "Anak, are you hungry?" he asked. I nodded shyly. Without another word, he went inside, took a cup of noodles and a boiled egg, and handed them to me. "You can eat here, no need to pay." As I ate, he said something I'll never forget. Filipinos share even when life is hard. We help each other because one day we might be the ones needing help too. His words felt like they were carved into my heart. I wanted to test one more thing. So I stood near a bakery pretending to search for change. One woman carrying groceries stopped beside me. "You okay?" she asked. I shrugged. "I'm just hungry." She reached into her bag and gave me a small snack box. "Here, eat this later," she said, smiling. Then she walked away without waiting for thanks. It was so simple, but so powerful. Most people don't notice someone who seems poor, but she did. As the sky turned orange, I sat by the seawall and watched families laughing and fishermen preparing their nets. A mother walking with her daughter stopped when she saw me sitting alone. "Do you have a place to sleep tonight?" she asked gently. I nodded quickly. I didn't want to take more from anyone. She smiled with relief. "Okay, stay safe. Nights here can be cold." Her daughter waved at me before they left. That final moment felt like the perfect closing chapter to my long, emotional day. When night finally came, I walked back to my hotel, the same place where my real clothes and real money waited for me. But something felt different. All day, people with little money, people with simple jobs, people who struggled more than I ever had given me food, water, shelter, safety, and kindness. And what shocked me the most wasn't that they helped. It was how fast they helped, how naturally it came to them, how they didn't even think twice. They weren't rich, They weren't powerful. They weren't famous. But their hearts were something special. That night, I looked at the untouched money in my pocket and realized something important. I pretended to be poor for one day, but the people I met were richer in kindness than I had ever been in my entire life. Because true wealth isn't in your wallet, it's in your heart. And in the Philippines, I found some of the richest hearts in the world. If you want more real stories like this, stories that open your eyes and touch your heart, make sure you subscribe to Holistic News Expo. There are many more powerful journeys coming, and you don't want to miss any of them.